What's up? Hey, I want to talk. I know it seems like every podcast I'm at least mentioning this deal. I just feel like it's so important is relationships. And a couple of things when I was preparing for this podcast that made me want to encourage you all. And I am not being gender discriminatory or promoting one gender or the other one. But let me tell you something. At my house, my wife has got this relationship deal down. That, I'm in the middle of this transition deal from working with a corporation for 34 years to transitioning into what I'm doing currently, my consulting business. And, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm Brad. Be real. Got excited about talking. So thought it'd be nice if I introduced myself. But my wife and them have it down. So I'm spending more time at home and during this transition deal. My wife's phone is blowing up. And you know what it is? It's her friends are checking on her, or her friends are wanting to go do coffee, or her friend, and I'm amazed and I'm encouraging it. Her friends are calling her going, hey, how did Avery's doctor's appointment yesterday? Hey, your dog was sick yesterday. How's the dog doing? And she doesn't really even know I'm realizing I'm observing this. But that whole deal, that whole concept right there is why her and her friends experience a higher level of happiness. That's why her and her friends succeed at many of the things that they do, is because they have each other, they talk to each other, they encourage each other, they're there for each other. Where a lot of times, and like I said, I'm not being gender discriminatory or anything, but a lot of times men have a tendency of trying to do this deal alone, and that's a bad plan, man. That's a bad plan. And so let me talk from my heart. We noticed, like, Celebrate Recovery helped me to get sober, and I noticed that that sometimes it kind of goes in waves. I noticed sometimes at Celebrate Recovery that there were far more women having success in overcoming hurts, habits, and hangups. And you want to know why? Because they already were connected. They already were naturally connected. They didn't try to go alone. They didn't do that macho man crap. They were like, no, man, if I could have done this by myself, I would have already done it. That's one thing. The other thing I was thinking of when I was getting ready for this is I like I said, I struggle too with anxiety. I struggle with different things also. So this is not some deal where I'm up on this pedestal talking down to you guys, trying to tell you guys you need to be a certain way. But I was thinking about this when I was preparing for this podcast. I was thinking, if whatever you do, when you're having a really, really, really good day, jot down what you're doing. And probably what you're doing, if you're me, if you're having a really, really good day, you're making more phone calls. If you're having a really good day, you're listening to great music. If you're having a good day, you're going to eat lunch with a friend. If you're having a good day, you're watching happy movies. Whatever it is, you have a tendency on whatever you're doing when you're in a great state of mind, just jot that down. And then know what you need to do? You need to pull that damn sheet of paper out on a bad day. And you need to do exactly what you do on a good day. And you know what? It might not feel comfortable at first, but you need to do it anyway. Because that's the quickest way to change you. And it is not easy. And we all struggle with it. It is not easy to stay in this zone, all this happy, zone on top of the mountain all the time. It's a struggle to stay there, but the struggle is worth it. But pull that sheet of paper out, whatever you do on the days that you're like, oh, I'm really in a good mood. I'm really having a great day. Okay, what are you doing? And then on your not so happy day, pull that playbook out. That's going to be your playbook for a crappy day. And you're going to call as many people as you need to call. You're going to watch movies. You're going to, whatever it is that you do, please go do that. And you know what? It might not make the day perfect, but I'm going to tell you it's going to make the day better. And the other thing is I was reading this book, and And let me just tell you what the saying is. It says, relationships are the currency of the future. If you ain't writing stuff down, I'd probably go grab a pen and write that one down. Relationships are the currency of the future. That's how important relationships are. All this screen time and all this because AI and computer skills and TV and Netflix and binging and all those other things. Yeah, it's great. I do them too. I'm not saying them not. But really, but everybody's going to be good at writing because everybody's going to have AI. Everybody's going to be good at certain things because everybody's going to be so versed on a computer. But if you really want to do your kids a favor, if you want to really do yourself a favor, you know what you should do? You should spend as much time helping them with communication. And you should help them with, how do you greet another human being? And what do you do when you walk in a room? How do you introduce yourself? Because guys, this is one of the first things we do with our kids. When we have people come to our house, all of our kids go to the front door and they start shaking hands. You want to know why? Because they're going to need that later. There's nothing worse than introducing yourself to some person, young person that's uncomfortable with that. The last job that I had, we were not getting very good scores on our warehouse experience. And we went out and started observing, and we're like, well, heck, these kids, they don't even know how to interact with people. They don't even know how to introduce themselves. So we actually started and rewound the tape a little bit and we started role playing. We started showing them, we put little tubs of bottles of water out in the warehouse. And so when they went up to meet a customer, they said, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? I'm so-and-so. So glad you're here. And then when they got done, they shook their hand and said, thank you very much for their business. All of a sudden, our scores went through the roof. Our processes didn't get any faster. What we were doing didn't necessarily get any better. So when we were getting crappy scores, we were doing the exact same thing. The only thing was we were actually better at communicating with people and making people feel like they were special. That relationships is going to be the currency of the future. And think about this. Relationships actually increase trust and they reduce loss. Think about that for a second. So actually relationships increase trust because obviously if you spend time with relationships, your wife's going to trust you more, your kids are going to trust you more, people that you're working with, if you actually are intentional in trying to increase and make that relationship better, this is my own opinion on that deal too, but certain people were promoted because they had certain skills. And a lot of times they were promoted because they were good with people. People liked them. They were funny. So they got promoted. And then they make it to managers, and all of a sudden they left all these people skills behind. And now all of a sudden they're the stiff cardboard cutout. I'm like, bro, what happened, man? We promoted you because you were great with customers. We promoted you because you talked with your peers. We promoted you because you could close a deal. And now all of a sudden you're leaving that toolbox all in the shit. Why would you do that? Take those skills and those tools that you have strengthened. And the reason that's why it's very important for you to inventory your strengths and always make sure no matter where you go that you're taking those strengths with you. And when you go to manager, yeah, you're going to have to add more tools, but you don't leave your best tools behind. You take those tools with you. And here's another one that's really good. I want to encourage you because it has to do with the whole relationship thing. There's another saying that says and is good, isolation is dangerous. And so that goes back to relationships, and it's not easy sometimes. Sometimes you don't. And I'm like this. I some days I struggle with calling people back. I have to struggle with calling people. I have to force myself to doing that. And you know what? When I get off the phone, I'm in a better place. But that's why relationships are so important. Is that then when you're having situations where you feel like isolating yourself, you don't do that because you have the people around you to do that. And think about this. Relationships actually Like my 13-year-old says, actually, my 13-year-old says, um, your relationships literally make you more physically healthy. And I'll tell you why in a second. And relationships help you be mentally healthier. And you're like, you're reaching, Brad. No, I'm not, because I told you earlier, the level of your happiness and the level of your success is totally contingent on the strength of your relationship. The level of your happiness. Happy people live longer. Happy people are mentally strong and resilient, because then happy people have a tendency, they're already at this level. We all hit certain things that we struggle with. When they hit this deal, they're not there as long, and they're pulling themselves back up. So actually, by being intentional on building relationships and making relationships, it's actually going to make you, I'm not over exaggerating, man. It actually makes you live longer. You know, too, I've never seen a person that has a good core group of people around them that doesn't have amazing self-esteem. So it kind of goes, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Did they have great self-esteem and that causes people to be around them? Or did they start getting fun, positive people around them, and that makes them have more self-esteem? I don't care which one you do, but all I know is the both of them, they work. And that's why that we should be and think and vision of people like we do ourselves. Here's where I'm going. I always tell this with people, man, just see yourself like I see you. If you would just see think about that. Think about all the people that are around you. And for the most part, what do they think about you? You know, another one is always try to see yourself like God sees you, and try to see yourself like others see you. And sometimes, guys, if you're really real with yourself, you struggle with that. And I'll tell you, I struggle with it. I'll get to talking at my house and my family looks at me like I'm nuts. They're like, bro, what are you talking about? How can you even think that? You know, I'll be talking about whatever I'm concerned about for the next day or whatever. And they're like, what are you talking about? That is your wheelhouse. That is what you're absolutely the greatest at. And you're sitting here telling me you have doubts and fears and anxiety about something that you're great at. But we all have a tendency of doing it. That's why it's important to have people around you to help you to see yourselves like they see you, so that you can do that. And the other thing is that having great relationships actually helps you with your confidence. And it helps you with your confidence. You'll move quicker, and you're less apt to worry about making a mistake. You want to know why? Because a good relationships around you is like having a safety net around you in your life. That you know, a lot of times, I'm just gonna be real with you. We kind of, a lot of times in life, we're on the high wire, and you know, when you get to certain levels, you don't have a safety net. You don't have a parachute. I understand that. That's where sometimes success is. But the chances of you being without a safety net when you have great people around you is a lot less than when it's not. That relationships becomes your safety net. The other thing that that relationships help with is you're actually more resilient. And in my opinion, you have a tendency of making less mistakes because you seek counsel. You have people around you. You have people that help you to stay in touch with what's going on. And those relationships, where one goes, we all go. And then everybody's kind of pushing each other. There was this deal we did in high school. It was this, our coach had us doing this, and it was, I don't remember what the name of it was, but what it was is the whole basketball team, we would go out and jog laps, right? Well, what would happen is the person at the back would have to run to the front. And then you just kept doing that, and you just kept circling back around. The person at the back would run to the front. Dude, we were running miles at times I'd never achieved by myself. And the reason is because when I got to the back, I ran to the front, And when we ran together, you weren't worried about what your breath was like. You weren't worried about how sore your legs were because you were doing it as a group. You were doing it together. You were doing it as a team. And I'm telling you, when we did that, I never ran miles so fast in my life is when we did that. And I'll tell you, this really doesn't have anything to do. It's something completely different, but it has to do with your mind. And it made me think of that when we were talking about track. So I ran track, and I was out. I did high jump, and there was a certain level of high jump that I couldn't seem to get over. I don't even remember what the height was, but there was a certain level of high jump that I couldn't get over. And no matter what, I got to this point. I just leaped over it. When I got to this point, all of a sudden, I couldn't lift any higher than that. So I'm out in the high jump pit, jacking around, fun and high-fiving people and all that. All of a sudden, my coach yells, Brad, go, jump, go. Gets me in a hurry. So I run to the high jump bar, and all I know is I'm running. The coach set the bar. He knows what my max is. And I run to the high bar. I jump over, clear the bar completely. Land, everybody starts going crazy. And I'm like, what just happened? And they're like, oh, that's like 6 inches higher than you've ever jumped in your life. And I was like, no way. What the moral of this story is. Here's the moral of this story. A lot of times we're setting limits on ourselves mentally that physically we could actually do it. And because of those people in that pit, and because of those people encouraging me, knowing that I could do more than what I was doing, they just set the bar, screamed at me, told me, jump. I jumped. I cleared the bar. There's a lesson there in that. Get out of your own way. Get some people around you. Have those people around you so that they can help you. Have them, because at times you're going to be the person running from the back to the front. At other times, other people are going to run for you, but they're going to keep your cadence. They're going to keep your pace going. But back to the most important thing. Relationships are so important. They're so important for so many different reasons. Don't discard relationships. Look around in your life. See who's in your life. Be intentional about going to make those relationships stronger. Not just for them, but for you also. And, like I was talking about, sometimes we don't have necessarily great days. And I have found that when I'm not having a great day, if I'll take a little bit of time to go and strengthen a relationship with somebody else or spend time with somebody else, even though I didn't do it for me because I was in a crappy mood or whatever the heck it was, but I was focused on lifting them up. And you know what? When I left there, I was lifted too. And so that's the importance of relationships, and that's the importance of us all sticking together. Don't discard the relationships. Everything's getting more and more discreet in time. Everybody's getting more and more and less communication. But I'm telling you, that tool right there of relationships and communications, I believe sports are great. I believe all those things are great. I think you should do whatever you want to with your kids, but you should take a little time and help them to be able to communicate extremely well. Because I'm telling you, everybody's always thinking, oh, what can I do to get my kid? I'm going to get him in this school. I'm going to get him with this coach. I'm going to get him with all this other stuff. What can I do to give my kid a step up? What can I do to get my, an advantage on the competition? Same thing with the people you're leading. If you're a leader and you want to give your people a leg up, or you want to give your people an advantage on the competition, I'll tell you what it is. Kindness is free, and it's your number one asset. Kindness is free, and it's number one asset. Go teach them to be kind. Go teach them how to talk to other people, and you will have an advantage over the competition. Hey, you guys go have a great day. Always be real, man.